Well, I'm going to start off my text play of Final Fantasy VIII a little bit different here by doing a video log about it instead of just writing it out. Uh, yeah, I've actually had Final Fantasy VIII for quite a while now. My little brother actually bought it when it came out. Don't know if he actually finished it or not. Um, I've tried to play it off and on several times myself since then. Uh, I don't think I've ever made it more than maybe a third of the way through the game. Uh, and there's a reason for that. See, it's one of those things where I like this game for the ideas it's got in it, and I'll get into that in a little bit here. But really, the thing that stops me from actually finishing it is that eventually it gets to a point where I just stop liking the story. I mean, granted, I get that it's supposed to be a story about, teenage angst, that kind of thing. Read several of them when I was, a teenager myself. I don't necessarily know if I was an angsty teen myself or not. I'm certainly hoping I wasn't. But, I mean, like I said, this story, kind of loses me because it just seems to lose its focus the farther into the second disc you get. And I've always figured I've been maybe a third or a half of the way through that when I, finally just, get tired of trying to play through the game and just give up. I think, last time I tried it, I was at the It's usually at the part of the game where they, go to the orphanage, where I, gave up last time because, well, I just got tired of the characters, you know. Um, it's one of those things where they just don't seem to, change as quickly as I would hope in, this particular kind of story where, yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things right now. I'm not given a really good explanation for it, but I mean, it's just one of those things where I just can't like the story for reasons I just can't really do all that good job of explaining apparently. But like I said earlier, I do like the ideas in this game. And even then, that's another part of, one of the problems I have with this game. Because for as much as I like the ideas individually, there is kind of an issue with them, not playing very well together from what I can tell. Because, see, it's one of those things where, hey, I like the idea of being able to pull the magic spells from your enemies, the monsters and the what human enemies there are. Uh, I like the spell charges. That's it's cool that you've only got like a maximum of 100 times you can use a given spell before you have to get more charges for it. Uh, you know, uh, and I also like that you can use your guardian forces like that the summon monsters in this game to attach your various spells to the various attributes and attacks and that kind of thing. But that's kind of where we run into problems with the spell charges for me because it's one of those things where I'm the kind of guy that actually, when I'm playing these games, I actually like to, actually use the magic as magic. But it's one of those things where if you want to have, if you want to give the, if you want to have the hero to have, say, a zombie status effect on his sword, you have to have, 100 charges of that, put on his attack, or it's really not going to work worth a damn. Which actually kind of, sucks for people who play the way I do, because then you can't, you know, cast a zombie spell on somebody, you know, which, yeah, I know people whose play style is different than mine, and, actually having it, work that way is, better for them, and hey, more power to them. And then there's, actually upgrading the weapons and armor and stuff like that. Yeah, if you read my Legend of Mana, um, text play a couple of years ago, one thing I, brought up was, I actually kind of have issues with, games that, drop a ton and a half of seemingly useless items on us. I think Final Fantasy VIII was the first game, or at least the first one that I'm aware of, that actually did that. And yeah, it serves a purpose. That these monsters are dropping all these items and things that you can use to you can use them to make magic spells if you need them, and there are components to upgrade your your weapons and stuff like that. But I mean, that's just, I just can't wrap my head around. Okay, so if I want to upgrade, you know uh, the martial artists gloves, I have to find like 6 fish skins, and I need 2 dozen screws, and I guess there are monsters that like drop a certain kind of rock you need for it, and that just confuses the hell out of me as to how that's supposed to work. Uh, it's one of those things where it didn't really make a lot more sense to me in Legend of Mana either, and they actually explained it that a little better in Legend of Mana when they said, okay, yeah, you've got these workshops where you can, put all this stuff together, and make your own, like your new sword or your new piece of armor or whatever. It's might have powers and attributes and defenses you can't find in stores. But the fact that you can't even do anything even like that in Final Fantasy VIII, I just can't get my head around that. I mean, maybe that's just because I'm more of somebody who is more used to the older games where they would just like have an armor shop and a weapons shop and that kind of thing. And really, that's actually something that really does put me off on Final Fantasy VIII, is knowing that a lot of the things they had in 8 were actually done better in Final Fantasy 7. Because once you get the materia system figured out in Final Fantasy 7, it's actually just as easy to, if you want to make, Cloud's Buster Sword a fire sword, you just have to get the, add elemental materia and, combine it with the fire materia, and you can still use the magic, and it'll get stronger the stronger the materia gets. Whereas, in 8, like I was saying here, you have to have 100 charges to have the full effect. And depending on the level of the spell you're actually putting on there in 8, you might not get 100% if you have 100 charges. Because if it's like just like the level 1 fire spell, 100 charges might only get you up to 50% on the attack. And it's really just, more complex than it needs to be. And combine that with a story that just really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I just couldn't stick with it. you know. Um, but anyway, I'm probably gonna get more into this. I sit down and actually start the written version of it, because I mean I've gone on for almost 11 minutes here, and you can see why I actually don't do much video. It's in part because I'm really not the best speaker ever. I really don't, not much a video guy, because I don't look or sound the part, and I'm more confident with my writing. So anyway, I think, I mean, I'm more confident with the writing, and I don't have an emulator on my computer, and I don't know how to hook the equipment up here. So anyway, I'll probably get down to the first written portion of Final Fantasy VIII here in the near future. So be looking forward to that, and I'll see you when I see you. Talk to you later. Have a good day.